Welcome to the shit show.
It is another week of the All Elite Wrap-Up, this time for April 3rd, 2025. I am Tim. That is Tom over there. Look, I got it right the first time.
Yeah.
Which way the direction actually is.
And you're that way, right?
Man. Yep.
And I got you.
So if you're listening back on the podcast and wondering, like, why are these guys talking like I can see them? Well, you could see us if you're watching us live each and every week on Thursdays, with a few exceptions, right here at 7:15-ish on the dot, right here on the YouTube, right? Join us live, chat along with us, as we hope folks will do along tonight, because we're going to talk about AEW Dynasty is coming up this weekend. We're not going to go to this one. We went to the previous one, right?
We went to the first ever one.
God, has it been that long ago now? It's been 2 years now?
No, it was last year was the first ever one.
It was last year. It was last year.
Yeah.
Was the first ever
Yeah.
one. All right, good. I was making sure I wasn't like too old and forgot that like
No.
a year went by. No, exactly. You know, we're ballers, but you know, we just like figure, you know, we didn't want to make the trip to Philly this time.
I do love Philly though. I know the whole sports thing, but like as a city, I would move there in a heartbeat. I love Philadelphia. Oh, if you're a fan of exposed brick as far as architecture, dogs, and then just history, every single spot you look, it's a city for you. And really good food. Like cheesesteaks, duh, right? But like on top of that, really good food. And also a great place for pro wrestling history. You know, go to the ECW arena. Got some other places you could check out. Yeah, I love that city. Love it, love it, love it.
Philadelphia. Yeah, so we're going to talk about Dynasty. We're going to make some predictions. We do a fun predictions game. It's less fun right now for me lately. But
hold on. But yeah, we'll talk about that. Let's first do, as we always do every single week, a vibe check, right? As the kids say, a fit check. So today I'm wearing my Royals cool little baseball logo within a home plate, and then I'm wearing a Samoa Joe shirt. See that right there?
Yeah.
Now, Tim, what are you wearing this week?
Yeah, I've got these cool Outrunner shades.
Yeah.
Yeah. I look like the youngest man alive in these shades. Ain't doing nothing wrong. Everybody thinks I'm cool, hip.
But your shirt is
young.
probably not the youngest man alive.
Oh, yeah. Listen, we've got so much to get to, Tom.
Right. Which is one of them being your shirt. What shirt are you wearing? We have it on the rundown. As everyone knows, outfit check.
I got to wear this Jeff Jarrett shirt because I lost last predictions for, what was it, Revolution, right?
Uh-huh.
Where I picked everything but one wrong.
And then what happened to the one before that, too?
Yeah, fuck you. I don't like you.
Yeah, we lost that one,
we're
too.
Not friends anymore.
Anymore?
But this time, yeah, you're like, when were we? But this time I'm going to win these predictions. I'm going to be able to hand deliver the shirt to you. You're going to take over it. Tom, this shirt is so eerie. Tom, I woke up in the night sweats wearing this shirt when I did not wear this shirt to bed. You know what I mean? Like something, I got to get rid of the shirt.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, you should. But you should also keep it. Keep it. Keeping it.
No, it's going to be
what I would do.
When you lose these predictions, because you're going to fuck it up. That's
No.
that's your pattern, right? You're not going to sustain success.
Well, that may be true, but one thing that I am
You're like, hold on, you
got
a little deep on that one. You're like,
well, but one thing I'm definitely not known for is fucking it up. I mean, have you seen my life? Have you heard past episodes? If there's one thing I do well, it's being rational and very coherent with my decisions.
Middle of the road fella, right?
Oh my goodness,
mild mannered, some might say.
Yeah, mild-mannered Tommy. That's what they called me in college, you know? They said,
Yeah.
oh, hey, there's a little mild-mannered. And I go, hey, guys, how's it going today?
That's why you should stick with us in the chat. You'll get to know mild-mannered Tom over here and me, right? And we want you to talk to us. We want you to talk to us while we're doing the show. But if you can't,
Terrible Picks Tim and mild-mannered Tommy. That's what they called us.
That's been our nicknames for almost 12 years coming up.
Yep, old TPT and mild-mannered Tom.
So if you can join us live during the shows. I don't like these nicknames. We're going to workshop these nicknames.
TPT.
I don't like these. I'm glad nobody's in the chat yet. But you should get in the chat with us while we do these shows because you can do some predictions along with us. You can meet other people. You can talk to us. We can all be wrestling friends. Everything will be great. Just don't be a fucking Nazi. Tom, not that you're a Nazi. I'm just that anybody don't be a Nazi. No, don't. What are you putting in the chat here already? You're putting TPT.
My hands are here. Look at that hand check.
Oh, somebody hacked your account, huh?
Yeah.
Somebody must have got in.
Look at this hand check. It's like we're in 8th grade again. Hand check.
God damn. So here we are. You can join us in the chat. If you can't join us in the chat, you can also join us randomly throughout the week and especially live during things like Dynamite, Collision, all of that sort of thing. Live on the Blue Sky. Somebody will be there furiously skeeting away. Tom, I think you handled those duties solo last night because I had to watch the show later. I wasn't watching it live.
And I will not be available to live watch Dynasty this Sunday night because I will be traveling. So, Tim, you will have those responsibilities. So it should be fun.
I'll figure out how we'll work that. I'll make sure that we'll get that figured out. We will work that out. Yep. We will work that out.
Well, you know what you could always do? You know what you could always do is just like a fight forever and then just put clapping emojis and just post it every 15 minutes.
We'll just see who's wrestling and be like, swerve! Exclamation. And just, yeah. You can mail it in. You can phone it in. Hey, workshop tips. That's another thing you'll get when you watch us live, right? And even if you listen back on the podcast, you'll get these little workshop tips from these media giants, right? Tim and Tom here on the All Elite Wrapup. But allelitewrapup.com is the website, www.allelitewrapup.com. That's also the Blue Sky handle name. It's at www.allelitewrapup.com. Those are easy to find. Check out those links. We are also aewrapup@gmail.com. You can send us an email. So you can type something, record something, send it to us, talk to us. But Tom, we don't got any of that. Right now, we were just going to talk Dynasty. We're going to talk Dynasty, and then we're going to filter in Dynamite, right? With what happened on Dynamite. Unless there's something, Tom, that you needed to get off your chest. This is also therapy hour for Tim and Tom. First, before it's a wrestling podcast.
Well, being mild-mannered, there's not a lot that I have really pent up inside. So, as usual,
the gimmick.
just living large and in charge with my cool Samoa Joe shirt. And again, what was your shirt for people who are just joining now? What was it before we get started? Got to have that fit shirt. Check.
Yep. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's the F. Jarrett shirt. Yeah.
Huh?
Yep.
What?
It's slap nuts. It's Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, it's old Mr. Pre-Show.
Like it's off center. I still, every time I put it on, I'm like, look, I know I'm fat, but like I'm not unevenly fat, right? Like I'm now.
Yeah.
Here, God damn it. It really sucks.
Fun.
This shirt sucks.
It does. It's miserable. I was thinking
it burns, but it also gives you the chills at the same time. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it.
And one thing I was actually thinking about, because that shirt's not going to last. Obviously, it's made cheap because look who made it, Jeff Jarrett.
What do we pivot to when this is done?
He's got some action figures that are going out. You could like have to post it right next to you as you do the show the entire time. You know, right here. It'd be like like this, except for it's Jeff Jarrett, and he'd just be like, "Yeah, so what'd you think of this show?" Well, it'd be funny.
Could you imagine this fun thing where get pulled over and a cop's like, "What do you got there?" And be like, "Oh, this is my Jeff Jarrett action figure." Be like, "Why is that? Why do you have that shotgun?" Be like, "You a podcast fan?"
Yeah.
Listen, let me tell you
about a cool
podcast.
Tom. Yeah, an old TPT, Terrible Picks Tim.
We got Troubles with Weekly Wrestling in the chat, which reminder, listen to Troubles with Weekly Wrestling podcast. That's a good time. You're going to enjoy yourself. It says, this Thomas is definitely not Tom. I don't know. That sounds like another therapy hour question.
Well, you know, when you're mild-mannered, it's Thomas. You know what I mean? When you're a fun, hip guy, you go by Tom. Hey.
Sometimes when you're crazy, you're TJ.
Hey, oh man, that's fun. That's when I know I'm in trouble. You hear that, and I'm like, well, this was a fun life. I'm most likely going to die. That's usually how that goes.
All right.
But yeah,
Okay.
let's talk about some Dynasty coming up. Tim, you have the rundown. As you mentioned, I have last night's Dynamite, so we'll kind of sprinkle in anything that we don't hit on our picks with some last
So,
night AEW
yeah.
Dynasty, or excuse me, Dynamite, and go from there.
So for anybody listening back later or checking us out, we're doing this Thursday night. So if they add anything on Collision, we didn't get it in time. Ain't gonna happen. We're not gonna pick it. But I've got AEW's website up right now. They've got 8
Mhm.
matches on the card, but I think they should have 9 on there. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we're gonna address this one first, and we'll just pick it. And if it ain't on the card, it ain't on the card. But Chris
Mhm.
Jericho is defending the ROH Men's World Championship, right?
He said it, but then he hasn't been on the show, and I don't.
Ah.
Maybe they realized. Here's what I thought about because I thought the same thing you did.
Mm-hmm.
My thought was Jericho said, "Hey, they're going to make me do the match at this Ring of Honor pay-per-view, but I'll get a bigger paycheck if I say it's at Dynasty. And who's going to fucking tell Chris Jericho no?" And so he said it knowing he wasn't actually going to do it. And they're like, "Oh, hey, Chris, what the hell was that? Oh, I must have slipped up, but I guess I'll see you Sunday." And he's like, "Well," and then they left him on red. And that's why you didn't see Chris Jericho on Dynamite this week, which was, huh? How great was that?
That was great. Um, but so should we not pick it? Should we pick it? You want to pick it?
It's
What do you
gonna
say?
be well, because
Jericho.
it's mask versus title. I'm going Bandito.
Oh, I didn't realize this is mask versus title.
That's what was said. If that's the stipulation, then I'm going Bandito. If it's just straight up, I'm going Jericho. So that's my caveat,
Yeah.
I will say.
Well, same here. So effectively doesn't matter because we're picking the same. So
Yeah.
let's write them both down. Doesn't matter. Um, see, we can pick everything great. Well, if it's this way, I'm picking.
Yeah, that way. Then we'll
put,
do the
some,
other one.
put this on here. All right. In the Owen Hart men's tournament quarterfinals, we've got the Will Ospreay, the king of the flips, taking on Kevin Knight. And boy, they love them some Kevin Knight right now, Tom. They are really wanting you to know that everybody thinks this guy has got it. What do you think?
Oh, Osprey.
Yeah. So,
Because
hey, fuck you.
I think what they're doing with Kevin Knight is the same thing they did with Takeshita, where it was like, hey, everyone, Takeshita's awesome, but he's going to lose to Moxley. He's going to lose to Eddie Kingston. He's going to lose to, all these number of guys. And then we're going to celebrate because then he's going to start to win matches and then he'll become someone. I think they're going to do the
Yeah.
same thing with Kevin Knight.
Fuck your mama 2 times in the chat says, "What up, boys? Already making picks, no time wasted." Yeah, man, we hit it, man. We came in quick. We said the hellos
Mm-hmm.
and gave you all the plugs. And if the beauty of this is live on demand. You can rewind a little bit, catch up later, listen back.
Mm-hmm.
We are here for you. I'd love to see you. And yeah, so I've got Osprey written down too, but I was going back and forth with the idea that this is a tournament, right? And we've seen before where AEW goes, surprise, first round of the tournament, the number 1 seed essentially gets upset when the Young Bucks lost to who did that? Who was that? To the old Private Party.
Private
right?
Party. Yeah, Private Party.
So, you know what I mean? Kevin Knight gets a roll up right on Will Ospreay, and then everybody's like, oh, and then loses in the next round. Isn't crazy, but I just think Ospreay's winning this. I think Ospreay must pose, right?
At least, again, we don't know the exact order, but if it's kicking it off, then 100%, yeah, Osprey's
Sure.
winning.
Yeah. It's Kevin Knight, though. Like, they really are, like, really trying to, like, everybody's, like, shaking this guy's hand. They're like, this guy's going to be the thing. And, I mean, look, I'm not saying he's
and he
not,
will be.
right? But
yeah, I think he will be. It's just not yet.
Yeah.
So I'm going Will Ospreay for that reason.
All right. The women's Owen Hart tournament quarterfinals, Mercedes Moné versus Julia Hart. I've got some interesting thoughts on this one too, but I think your winner
I think
is...
it's a layup. Yeah, Mercedes Moné.
Yeah. So now Mercedes Moné and Athena are on the same side of the bracket. That's what gives me pause, right? Because if they were to meet up in the finals for this tournament, I would be like, no brainer, we're going to do that. I could see where Athena costs Monet a match here, and then the flip side is she also costs Athena back the match, right? And now they're beefing and they meet up later down the road. So while I think Mercedes Moné wins this match, I was also going back and forth on, but should I pick it? Like, is that the play, right? Are they going to go both screw each other out of these matches? Do they want to do that in the Owen Hart's tournament? Do they want to have two, you know what I mean, non-real finishes? And
Well, the thing is, they both haven't lost a match since black and white television. So what do you do there, right?
Well, think of the hatred, right? If you did that to each other.
You could do a whole WWE out thing where Athena has suffered an injury backstage and she can't make it. And then Billy Starks, who loses in the first round, then gets a rematch with Mercedes Moné. She loses again. Athena's like, you bitch, and then comes out, something like that.
You could do something like that, but Monet's walking out of this, winner.
Definitely. Especially in this one. Julia Hart, no offense to her, but, she was riding high as the as the TBS champion. And if you recall, last year she was going into Dynasty as the champ against Willow. Willow beat her because apparently, breaking kayfabe, she was hurt, so she had to get the title off of her. But once she's come back from her injury, kind of mid, like not setting the world on fire. I know she's done some good stuff with Queen Aminata, but she wasn't at the same point as she was pre-injury.
Yeah, I agree. Man, we're going to work ourselves in a situation where we pick the same matches again.
Well, actually, one thing while you're going through the matches, a little bit of breaking news, at least to me, that I'm seeing is according to Fightful Select, which generally speaking, when it comes to injury reports, they're pretty accurate on. Orange Cassidy has torn his pec. He's out. So, not good for old Orange Squeeze. I guess he was freshly squeezed and his pec couldn't handle it.
You got over squeezed.
Yeah, over squeezed, But yeah, so anyhow, I just saw that. But what match do we got next?
The World Tag Team Championships are on the line when Bill and Brian take on the Hurt Syndicate.
Well, okay, so who are you going with?
Well, everything says Hurt Syndicate is supposed to win this match, right? But is MJF going to somehow fuck over the Hurt Syndicate?
So let's talk about let's talk about last night. So last night, MJF comes out to the ring. MVP comes out to the ring with Bobby Lashley, and they cut right to the chase.
Whose suit jacket was made to look like it was a raincoat or something. I don't know what that looked like. That was a little off.
Sometimes when like you have such a great physique, you're like, anything looks good on me, and it's like, not really.
Well, look, it looks better on him than probably anybody else, right? I'm not going to
But it doesn't look good on him either.
But it just didn't look that great on him either.
Yeah. And so MJF is talking about, hey, MVP, right? Isn't this cool? And Lashley, again, cuts to the chase and's like, hey, let me be clear. I am not kicking your ass because MVP likes you, but I don't. So you're not fucking in here. Get out. And this was the weird part. MJF goes, oh, okay, all right. And then just thanks them for their time and walks away. That's the interesting part. If he would have got in his face or, something like that, well, then Hurt Syndicate probably, does nothing. But because he just walked away, I could see MJF pushes MVP into Lashley. Lashley bumps his head, gets a roll up, and blames MVP, who MVP blames MJF, and now he's caused dissension in the Hurt Syndicate. Ha 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 ha. Because the other thing about that segment that I thought was of note is MJF shouts out Shelton Benjamin. So he's like, Shelton Benjamin, hope you're doing great. Love you, pal. MVP, looking awesome. Isn't that great? Bob, he calls him Bob. Hey, Bob, and smacks him on the shoulder, trying to big brother him. So, causing dissension.
So, one thing I liked about this, too, was Big Bill with the line where he's like, look, we kicked whatever team's ass. I forget who was on Collision, right? And he's like, and now we kicked...
Top Flight.
Yeah, Top Flight. He's like, we kick Top Flight's ass. He's like, then we kick their ass. He's like, and then we're going to kick your ass, right? Short and simple. Worked well for him. It's still a weird team for me, right? Bill and Brian here. But I think I'm fucking mama 2 times. Says MJF is going to make sure Hurt Syndicate wins. And that's kind of the feeling I'm getting here. So I'm going with the Hurt Syndicate.
Ooh. Oh, I did miss that part because he says, Lashley said he has to show his value. Okay. Now here's a fun, again, this would be the cool callback is, let's say MJF makes sure that the Hurt Syndicate beats the Learning Tree. Well, who's in charge of the Learning Tree? Chris Jericho, who was the last group MJF tried to get into that was led by Chris Jericho. And then we got, because one thing that AEW I think does great, but then it kind of gets a little bit like, hey, not everyone reads these, wrestling papers or whatever the fuck, dirt sheets, is we all know that Chris Jericho and MVP don't like each other. And so if they play into, hey, I'm just trying to help you out. And also you screwed up my guy. So now we want revenge and another tag match. So if we could have some fun here.
Good.
I'm
putting you down for Bill and Brian.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not? Yeah. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun.
Yes. Sure, it's going to be yours. All right. The TNT Championship is on the line. And when Daniel Garcia, I feel like, is going to dance his last dance against Adam Cole. I think Adam Cole's coming away winning this.
Yeah, because he hasn't really beat him per se, because the last time was a time limit draw.
Mm-hmm.
And Garcia wasn't like 5 more minutes. Garcia was like, haha, I did it.
Yeah.
Gotta beat me. So,
yeah.
And Adam Cole, here's the thing I think that needs a little boost for him is if he's going to do all of these appearances and announcements for AEW, put something on him.
He's got to be a winner.
Yeah, put something on him. And so he does all the, video game announcements and all this.
If we're being honest.
And so, yeah, I think it's Adam Cole as well.
Yeah, and just in a weird way, Daniel Garcia is the champion, but it feels like we would need to be doing a shift in the character or a story for him to continue the reign, right? It just feels dead and done.
Because he could go heel.
He could, which is not it's a unique choice when you turn somebody mid-title run, right?
Oh, yeah. No, here it is. I think just extra points here. Doesn't really count, but I'll just make an extra prediction. I think old Magic Trick Menard goes out there and maybe
Trick Menard.
Right? That's fucking and
that's his new
Garcia.
Gimmick. He's gonna come out in like a David Blaine style fucking the mind freak guy, right?
Yeah. What do you see when I move this around?
And that's why Magic Trick Menard is gonna disappear you. God damn. All right. Book it, Tony.
But I think
I know you're watching.
I think he might cost Garcia this in some way, either on purpose or on accident. I know they said no distractions or no outside interference, but as we've already seen, Magic Trick likes to go out there on commentary during.
Like, why are you out here? You're distraction. Like,
I always do
this.
Yeah.
All right. This is an interesting one. The World Trios titles are on the line with Death Riders and FTR. And we got a whole bunch of stuff here on Dynamite. Maybe we should hit some of that first.
Yes. Okay, so on Dynamite, where should we start? We should first start with what I guess was first. And that's FTR talking to Renee Paquette backstage. Now, Dax was fined $10,000 for pushing old Paul Turner, the referee. And he goes, I want to make sure that you have it. So take your family
Which
out
on its face
on
is nice, right? Like, Hey, if I'm going to pay
Yeah,
this fine, I don't want to give it to Tony Khan. Let me
right.
give it to
Yeah,
the guy.
give it to you. Yeah, take your family out for a nice dinner, but cash it on Friday. Yucky
Yep.
to yuck.
Yep.
Um, which whatever. Um, and then
Fits for a guy that we're trying to turn heel, though, right? I thought it was good for
yes, yeah. I guess yeah. In that regard, yeah, this is all still working for us. But Dax was like, "Hey, so Collision, one thing that happened. We've been together for 11 years or whatever it is, so we're good." And he goes to hug Hair FTR, and Hair FTR goes,
Yeah,
we're
fucking
brothers,
stiff arms him.
and we'll be fine on Sunday." And then after that, we're going to talk, which means they're losing.
Yeah. Yeah, they're totally losing. I've got Death Riders in there just for that reason. Like, there's a multitude of ways we could go with this rated FTR, right? And sure, you could book a scenario where they win and they're still all fucked up, right? And they get this run as the trios champ while they're all fucked up, and we just delay this. But I get the feeling maybe we're not delaying this. I get the feeling we're doing this because maybe Hair FTR isn't going to be around much longer. I think maybe he's not going to be. Is the feeling I'm getting. Maybe he's going away for a while or something, maybe, right? Because it kind of, like, I'm getting that feel where, like, we're going to focus in on the Dax and his. I think this is going to be
Hair
a Shawn
FTR
Michaels
going
moment.
to jail? Is he going to jail?
Ooh, I forgot about that situation.
Glock FTR fucking still is that in play? I have no idea.
Fear the Revolver.
Yeah, Fear the Revolver. Well, and then the other half of this was in our main event. Adam Copeland took on Claudio, and good little wrestle match. Wrestle.
Man, how does Claudio ages in like 1.5 or like half speed, right? Like he's gonna be a guy that like is Terry Funk age wrestling and is still gonna be like he's gonna have a 6-pack.
Here's my thought on that is, our favorite tag team right now, the Outrunners, call themselves the youngest men alive. But if you did a tag team of Claudio and Bobby Lashley, that legitimately might be the youngest men alive.
That's true.
All of our vitals say that we're 24. You're 63. I know.
Yeah. Claudio, man, he's one of those where he might have one of those JBL runs where if he figures out how to cut some promos and shit, and suddenly comes out like, oh fuck, now he's like a buff dude that's 7'12" or whatever he is, and I think he's cut some money.
I think he's a great. I like his role right now where Moxley's the crazy one, but when Moxley wants something done, it's actually Claudio who does it, right? Because it was Claudio who turned on Bryan Danielson first.
Interesting mix is he's so like kind of angry in these moments that he's kind of not paying attention to what language he's ranting in. You know what I mean? Like it's just whatever feels more sinister in the moment to fucking cut you down. I'm gonna pick here, and I like that.
Yeah, and I just like the idea that like Moxley's the crazy one. Moxley will have a fucking barbed wire hang off of his back, but Claudio's gonna be the one who really fucks you up.
What was the Marina Shafir line where she said something about like taking your liver out and shoving it down your mouth? Something Moxley was just like,
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, even Claudio was kind of like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
God damn. All right.
Yeah, she's fun in the sense that she's not. But she's awful. She is so awful. And I get it when you don't really like Moxley just has to think of this as like, guess what I can do? I can bring someone to this level. And it's like, not every time, pal. And she's one of the examples of the time you can't, because I get it. She does real grappling, but she really sucks wrestling. So just okay. I hope Willow, because that's another match I think might get added for Dynasty is Willow versus Marina. And I'm hoping Willow power bombs Marina through the fucking ring.
Yeah, that probably gets added on Collision, huh? That's what's going to get added.
That's what I would bet.
Be sitting at 10 matches. God damn, they better make some of these quick.
Well, I could see this, if it was Willow versus Marina being somewhat quick, right? Death Riders. No, it won't get added. You know why? Because let's talk about this as we move on. So we're both going Death Riders in this,
Death
right?
Riders, yeah.
And I know we'll talk about the main event when we'll get to it, but since we are on the topic, the show kicked off last night with Moxley and Marina Shafir taking on Willow and Swerve. Willow and
Yeah,
Swerve
interesting
get the
stuff here.
victory, but Moxley jams the neck of Willow with his finisher. So I don't think we'll get that match on Sunday because she's selling this neck injury.
They booked a stall. I gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting. I don't recall AEW doing a whole lot of these intergender tags.
No, right? Not really. Maybe a handful of times.
And we got some cross violence in there, right?
Yep.
All presumably by accident. The Moxie one, he pulled it off a little less well, right? Because he was trying to like be like, "Oh, I just turned around to somebody bumping into me."
Well, but he also was like, "Ah, fucker, too."
Yeah, but then he was just kind of like, "Oh, oops." It's like, "Oh, yeah."
Yeah.
So who knows, right?
One thing with I don't like, again, I just don't think you should do it. But even when you do it, it's not, how to say this without sounding like it. Stop letting it be okay that women can fuck up guys. It's not. If we're saying that a guy fucking up a girl is bad, it's also bad in the other way. Like, stop fucking, well, it's fine. Because, like, if Willow punched me, I bet you she could knock me out. Like, right. I'm not a big person.
Why can you not now punch back, right? Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I think it's so dumb when we're like, because Willow even was like, oh, and did the cannonball into Moxley. It's like, stop this. It's stupid.
So if you've been watching this from the start, to recap, this is mild-mannered Tom telling you why he should be allowed to hit women. That's what happened right here.
Hey, I said I'm mild-mannered, all right? So it's going to take a lot. But when we get there, no.
There was that spot where they each had, like, it was Moxley had Willow and
Swerve had Marina.
Swerve had Marina. And Marina's even, she was just like, do it. Like, just do it. Like, just do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Now, she slipped and Swerve had to do it again. Again, another reason why she ain't good at this shit. But yeah, she was like, do it.
Couldn't get Willow up in that power bomb. Willow had to, take that one risky person.
Yeah. And busted her head. God, fucking dope. She's so bad at just living. It's just 0 out of 10. Not doing anything well. What is it? I don't see it. Miserable. I mean, she brought Ronda Rousey to fucking pro wrestling. Huh?
Yeah.
What kind of bullshit is that?
Yeah, that was a bad move. All right, the International Championship is on the line in a 3-way with Kenny Omega defending against Ricochet and the Speedball, Mike Bailey. I feel like Omega wins this. I just don't. We haven't done a whole lot here for this. You could surprise me with Ricochet winning, but I just feel like they put that title on Kenny Omega for a reason, and that reason wasn't holding for a couple weeks to give it to Ricochet.
And I think potentially this could be where something in the match happens that, let's say, Kenny Omega pins Mike Bailey. Well, Ricochet says, you didn't beat me, and then we're going to get something else. And now it's going to be one-on-one Ricochet versus Kenny Omega.
If it wasn't for that Speedball Mike Bailey who cheated and, hit me with the whatever, right? Yeah.
Ooh. Let me lay this at you. Let me see how you try this on for size. Okay?
The officers told you you're not supposed to say that to people anymore.
Well, they ain't here, are they?
Lay this at you.
Yeah. So, Kenny Omega beats Speedball Mike Bailey, right? Yep. 1, 2, 3. Ricochet then says, hey, Kenny, you didn't beat me. Fuck that nerd. Me and you now, one-on-one. Well, if you remember, Kenny Omega kind of gave a big brother talking to Mike Bailey last week where it was like, I don't care if you think I'm the best or we're going to be friends. Like, I don't need friends. I'm here to win matches. And then Mike Bailey might be like, oh, so he just beat me like that? Like, he could have pinned Ricochet, but he decided to pin me? Well, fuck him. And he could cost him the championship Ricochet is your champion at the next pay-per-view, and then we get a feud with Mike Bailey and Kenny Omega, and then Ricochet's like, look at me with the gold. You know?
The international champion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Omega's winning this, though.
Yeah, for this one, yeah. But
Yeah.
the next one, when you have to keep that shirt, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you're keeping the shirt. You pick Bill and Brian. All right, the Women's World Championship is on the line when timeless Toni Storm defends against Megan Bayne, who, man, it feels like the Goldberg push, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so last night, let's talk about this since it was part of Dynamite. We had Toni Storm versus Penelope Ford. Good old wrestle match. Wrestle, wrestle, wrestle. Toni Storm wins. Megan Bayne, you're wearing a very revealing dress and the headdress? What the fuck? Like, do you have a receding hairline that we don't know of? What the? Why are you wearing this hat all the time?
And maybe nowadays this is easy with like, maybe you can get somebody to throw it on the truck. But like, remember when I remarked, I was like, how did Macho Man travel from town to town with all those hats?
Yeah.
Like, I know a cowboy hat like that, you don't just throw in a regular suitcase, right? Like, you got to have
or you don't just wear it through security. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
I'll just wear it on the plane.
That headdress has its own special bag, right? Hopefully she's allowed to like put that on the truck and they get it from town to town. But I don't know.
Yeah. But it felt weird that like you're in a dress, which we haven't seen you in, but we're still keeping the hat. We know you're not a goddess. It's a nickname.
Watch your mouth.
Well, hold on. What I'm saying is, or are we supposed to think that this is like a Luchasaurus thing where she thinks she's a dinosaur or, a goddess? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get her character yet.
Darren 83 here just says, Tony, and fuck your mama 2 times says, do not take this belt off Toni Storm. You wouldn't take the belt off MJF if he was facing Wardlow for the belt. Well, I don't think that's a fair comparison.
Well, but we kind of did, if you recall. The fastest defeat for MJF was a 7-second powerbomb fest by Wardlow, so it wasn't for a title, but you know what I mean?
Fuck your mama 2 times says, I love Megan Bayne, but Toni deserves a proper run. But I felt like she had a proper run, which is kind of what
she had like a year and a half. Yeah, what else is she going to do?
I think Megan Bayne's winning this. I'm writing down Megan Bayne.
Good, because I'm going to go Toni Storm. I did all of that, so you can go Megan Bayne.
No, I'd already written Megan Bayne down. I think we're going to I think that's kind of going to be the, like, shocker of the night, right?
It would be the best idea, because one thing that I'll push back on is every time you're a champion doesn't mean, and I get another 8 months. No, fuck it. If you did it once, awesome. Don't do it again, because then we're just bored. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, especially in such recent time. You know what I mean? Like, I know when, like, super recent, but, like, close enough, right?
Oh, yeah.
I need to book in this with,
We haven't even been back to All In when she had the championship and lost it to
Fuck Your Mama 2 times says, after that match, you got to keep it in her because she's a draw. But here's the thing. You don't have to end this feud. Megan Bayne can have the title. Now, Timeless Toni Storm is crazy. She could even go into that times of the Athenian goddesses, right? And try to be that or playing that role, right?
I think let's just get fucking weird. We've already determined that Toni Storm is creative. Have her team up have her join the Gangbang Gang and have her call it the Gangbang Gang. Her husband's in it, right? Have her be like, the Gangbang. My husband always said he wanted me to join this. And then like, it's the Bang Bang Gang. And she's like, yeah, that's what I said. The Gangbang Gang.
About it.
Yeah. Gentlemen, shall we? And they're like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
That's
I've been taking influence all day in preparation for this moment.
Yeah. Let's break a record. What the fuck is she talking about? But yeah, I think get her away from the title. Have someone like Megan Bayne and others. Because again, let's go with the hypothetical that Toni Storm does win, which I did pick, but let's just say she does, right? Who's next? It's not Statlander. She lost. It's not Mariah May, because that ended, air quotes. So, like, we ain't got anyone unless you have Mercedes lose her championship and then Mercedes goes, I want the... Now, you could do that, but we still got some ways to go for that. So, I just don't know who would be next if it's... a loss by Megan Bayne, and then next would be,
Uh,
you know.
Also this week, we got the collision moment where Tony Storm's giving that hell of a promo. She's got the spotlight
Oh,
on her, and Rouge about to cut a line. That perfectly timed foot from Penelope
mhm.
Ford. That spot was golden. That was good timing. That was good stuff.
Yeah, and Penelope Ford, I think, is good in this role because,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, last night she loses to Tony Storm, but then crawls to Megan Bayne, and Megan Bayne, big sister, stands there as like the almighty, and Penelope Ford's like, she's my favorite, So I think, yeah, I think Penelope Ford's great in this role. Um, I think we need to do some more hardcore matches with Penelope Ford because her technical wrestling's not the best. Um, but I think she's a fun wrestler. So
Yeah.
maybe stop with the old wrist locks and body slams and stuff, and let's do some stupid shit.
Let's get weird with it. All right. Well, the men's world championship is on the line. Jon Moxley defending against Swerve Strickland.
Let's talk about last
A
night.
lot to
Yeah, but
unpack
let's
here.
talk about last night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as we mentioned, the opening match was the tag match with Swerve and Willow versus Marina and Jon Moxley. Later on in the night, Renee goes to get an update on Willow from Swerve. Swerve is like, I'm going to kick Moxley's ass. Credit to Renee, who was like, can you guys stop fucking saying this to me?
Mm-hmm.
Which then talk to Tony Khan. Okay, let's say we're in kayfabe here. Then talk to Tony Khan and say, you're not assigned to anything that deals with your husband. Have Alex Marvez do it. Hey guys,
Yeah.
I'm back here. You know,
Yeah, yeah. Especially when it's
or
known, right?
or
It's one thing if somebody comes out of nowhere and says, I'm
yeah,
challenging your husband who hadn't had any beef with him, but like
yeah,
if it's somebody he's been actively fighting, why are you interviewing them then?
right. Because you could also get Lexi Nair. Lexi Nair could go back there and do that. So again, if we're keeping kayfabe, but I liked it because it adds to Renee being just the
Yep.
best, right? Um, And so in that backstage update we get, Swerve goes, I'm getting my hands on Moxley by the end of this night.
Yeah.
I'm kicking the shit out of him. Then we
Beat
get
him up.
to the end of the night. So Copeland beats Claudio, and Copeland walks off. Hey guys, gotta keep my hair
On
plugs
this
in
day.
somehow. Yeah, hurry. Gotta listen to the new Foo Fighters.
You think you know me?
Yeah, I love the Foo Fighters, by the way. But so he leaves, and then we go backstage, and Swerve and Prince Nana are having an argument. Well,
Mm-hmm.
Prince Nana's like, brother, no, not tonight. And Swerve's like, get the fuck out of the way or help me. And he's like, well, then I'm getting the fuck out of the way. So then Swerve is making his way to the ring,
Yep.
or I guess trying to find Moxley. He wasn't necessarily going to the ring, but he was just going to find Moxley. And he gets about 10 steps, and all of a sudden, here comes Hangman Adam Page. He's like, I don't know why you're wasting time, dumbass. I told you, you're not winning that fucking championship, and I'm a
Yeah.
man of my word. Swerve says, will you just move on?
Mm-hmm. Get over it.
Hangman goes, yeah, and Hangman goes, like, are you fucking serious? You broke into my home. Swerve then goes, you burnt down my house. And
Yeah.
Hangman goes, you deserved it. And then mic drop because Swerve then says, I know.
Yeah.
Hangman says, you deserved it. And Swerve says, I know. And then the security guards, which we get later, we'll talk about it. Security's not there, but they're back here. Anyhow, they let them separate, the security, that is. And then they get face to face. And Hangman's like, what the fuck did you just say? He goes, I said, I know. And Hangman's like, well, now what the fuck do I do?
Yeah. So yeah,
And he just walks off.
The security
Yeah, but
guards
he just-
were missed. They got there late, right? They're like they had to like come in after they had already got face to face, and then you see Hangman kind of like take a step back, and they all surround him, and then they start doing the like, oh my god,
Yeah.
so it was a little off. And then yeah, the puzzling thing was they all these security guards just knew the meaning of those words to be like, oh, let these guys go, right? Like it
Well,
felt
that's
like
not.
we just didn't even need them, right? We didn't need them for this.
Yeah.
But everything they did minus them was exquisite, right? Like he was just like they were finally just exhaling it all towards each other, you know?
And it was perfect. And Hangman then just does not know what to do and kind of just like goes into the wind, right? He just walks off,
He's just
right?
like, son of a bitch, what did he fucking say? Like, what he's
Yeah.
not supposed to say that? Like,
And this is the part where I thought security was fucking dumb. And so then Hangman just leaves. Security again is still standing right there. Swerve walks 8 steps, and Jon Moxley and the Death Riders are like, "Oh, we're gonna kick his ass."
And security,
Nope,
I didn't even
security's
think about
not
that.
there for that.
Yeah, that's right.
What the fuck? And then he gets thrown into the glass. No security. Gets dragged to the fucking ring. No security.
Somebody alerted security
glass.
to the fact that Hangman and Swerve were face to face, and they needed to rush in there, but yet nobody alerted. Fuck Swerve.
Yeah.
That was protecting Hangman, not Swerve.
Right, yeah,
This
maybe.
is a conspiracy.
Yeah. I mean, man, that's a good idea. But then we get glass poured onto
Real
the
glass.
ring. Real glass. Cry me a river, you fucking fraud. And Claudio, again, this was the part. Claudio power bombs Swerve into the glass.
Mm-hmm.
And then they leave, like, got him. Look at that chump. Ha 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 ha.
Yep.
And then, again, I think if they had a take 2, they probably would have done it better. So I'm not going to kill them too much for it. But we kind of missed Swerve sitting up and the crazy look.
Sit up. Yeah.
And then we kind of missed Jon Moxley being afraid of like what the fuck he just saw.
Like this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a little off, but we got
We missed
the
a
point,
couple
right?
things.
Like, yeah, but we got the point. And he sits up. Moxley's like, "What the fuck? What do we do to that guy?" Which brings us to Sunday's pay-per-view, Moxley versus Swerve. Who you got?
I feel like I got to swing for the fences here and go Swerve. I feel like Hangman's going to come out. I don't know which direction we're going to go, right? I don't know if Hangman's going to help or attempt to hurt or whatever, but I still feel like Swerve gets us, and I feel like Hangman kind of helps. I think.
Oh, yeah.
Hangman
That's what I was thinking, 100%. I think we're going to do a classic Death Riders match where towards the end, we're going to see Yuta, we're going to see Pac, we're going to see
Bloodline.
Claudio. Yeah, the same thing. But then potentially, because it could be Pac, because the history that Hangman has with Pac, even at the start of AEW's inception, right? Hangman, buckshot lariats, Pac, boom, takes him out. Claudio, he sidesteps him. Claudio clotheslines Moxley or whatever. And then Swerve gets the stomp. And then I think on Wednesday, Swerve's like, 2 times in a row with Dynasty, bitches. What's up? And Hangman, I could see coming out and going like, hey, if we're going to move on, fine. But now you're the champion.
Yeah.
And I want that belt.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's not about you, it's about that, right?
Yeah. And now we've got a different kind of wrinkle in this feud because now it's not necessarily personal anymore, although you never forget.
But
it's now about the championship.
Yeah. Hangman, yeah. It ain't, but it is.
Yeah. So I'm going Swerve as well.
You're going Swerve too? Yeah, man, I just feel like it's right. I do feel like the Moxley stuff is done. I feel like we've squeezed this, as much as we can. And I feel like Swerve's the right kind of guy to do it right. It's supposed to be like an AEW new, like young guy.
Savior.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm going with that.
And it's interesting because I still think the Darby thing has some type of, but again, maybe not. Maybe fucking we never see Darby again. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So maybe they're like, hey, let's just pull the trigger now. Because also,
sad news.
The other thing is like people were like, oh, I saw, who was it that I saw? Oh, Rob Van Dam was like, I'm not a big fan. What?
He said he never did extreme matches. He was like, go look at my, brother.
One of your signature moves was when fucking what's his ass held a chair in front of
Yeah.
your opponent's face and you back kicked him in the face.
I've seen you jump from one ring post to another just to drop kick a dude with a chair in his face. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what do you, yeah.
Yeah. You took pile drivers on chairs from Tommy Dreamer and
Right.
now just, no.
Yeah.
What?
And listen, we know you make questionable sexual choices, so what's the difference? You know, like you're picking.
Yeah. But it's
You know,
just, and then Bret Hart saying play wrestler thing. And
Bret
it's like,
Hart. Yeah, called them actors. I was like, well, Bret, if you knew how to act, you might have been Shawn Michaels. But that's another
well,
story.
and also, there's one match that has two Hollywood actors in it, John Cena and The Rock, and then there's pro wrestlers in the
Yeah,
other.
yeah,
So who's playing acting?
yeah.
You fucking Logan Paul and his, incest family has a reality show and is going to take on AJ Styles at WrestleMania, and we got Swerve and Moxley, but they're playing.
Well, wait, is CM Punk's next match going to be a step-by-step homage to a Bret Hart match
Yeah.
in that play acting?
Yeah. Did Bret Hart ever have a triple threat? Because that's what he'll do with Seth Rollins and Roman. Hey guys, so I'm gonna put you in a double sharpshooter. That's gonna get the crowd really going. Guess what? And in my first main event, I'm gonna wear pink.
Like your mama
Get
two
it?
times says, those Legends deals have them compromising their values and takes. You think that's like written in? They write in like, must do one
Well,
shit take on AEW.
I mean, potentially, but then also, Bret Hart, that fucking goof, did it on Ariel Helwani's show, and we know Ariel Helwani does not like AEW because his best friend professionally is Nick Khan, and so he ain't going to AEW.
Yeah.
Fuck Ariel. God, I cannot stand that. Man, I used to legitimately be like a friend, not like a friend, but we would have Zoom calls like once every other month.
Mm.
And now I can't stand that fucking guy at all. He
Well,
sucks
Tom,
all around.
we're back to a situation, and your champion's advantage allows you to pick when we have an equal number of different picks here, right? To
Mm-hmm.
pick one as the tiebreaker. So I'll remind you that in the World Tag Team Championship match, you picked Bill and Brian over Hurt Syndicate, which is a solid, amazing pick. And you're really smart for that. And then
Thank
in
you.
the Women's World Championship, you picked Tony Storm over Megan Bayne. So your natural tiebreaker, I'm going to put you down for Bill and Brian, right?
Yep, exactly. Tony Storm and Megan Bayne.
Is the one that you think you're not so sure on, but you are
Nope.
solid, rock solid on Bill and Brian.
Just like her husband, I'm rock hard on this Tony Storm and Megan Bayne match.
Okay, that's weird. That's going to get you arrested. All right. So you're like,
They
all right.
might be into it.
If they haven't done it already, if they haven't arrested me already,
Yeah.
why would this stop
Yeah.
them? All right. Yeah. So, all right. So, God, I need Megan Bayne and the Hurt Syndicate
Yeah.
to win. I need Megan Bayne and the Hurt Syndicate to win.
I just
Or
need
rather,
to
just
split.
Megan Bayne to win, I guess. I just need Megan Bayne to win.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, we're going to split on it.
Yeah.
So you really just need Megan Bayne of the two. You came up with the stipulation. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I did come up with the
Hell
tiebreaker.
yeah.
Well, because the very first one we did, we were like, all right, then we tied. It was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Now what?
Keep that. Yeah. Hey, let's talk about a couple other things from
Yeah,
Dynamite
let's
last
finish up
night.
the Dynamite. Mhm.
One thing that may have implications on the trios titles match is the Ops had a message, and it was Samoa Joe and Shibata and Hook, and they're like, "Hey, we understood that things have changed around here in AEW, so that's why we're aligned now, and you all better know we'll be watching." And it feels like three people saying that they're gonna watch a pay-per-view, and there's a match with 3 versus 3. I think that's going to be the match that they
He
may
said,
be involved
please,
in.
whatever you do, don't let us catch you lacking.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to be lacking?
Well, the Death Riders, right? I could see the Death Riders beat Rated FTR because Dax does something stupid. Then later in the night, as I was mentioning, this is how it could go down. The trios of Pac, Yuta, and Claudio come out, and then the Ops come out to get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
we're going to want those titles
Fuck up
and
your business.
fuck up your business, right? So they take him out, and then that's when Hangman buckshot lariats and hits John Moxley. Swerve gets the victory that way. That could easily be what happens here.
Could.
And then another match we got last night that really has no implications on the pay-per-view, but I thought was just fun, was Brody King versus Lance Archer.
Man, I know we really had these ideas for Brody King in this group, and then things happened, right? We got an injury, but damn it. Like, it feels like we are not doing enough. Every time I see Brody King, I'm like, God damn it, what are we missing here? This guy is so over, but we just we can't get him above this, like, mid-card, everybody dance now match.
It's just little things, too, in my eyes. For one, don't have him come out first. Have Lance Archer come out. Then you have Brody King come out. We're all barking. It doesn't stop. And then we keep the energy instead of this.
Goes ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, instead of this,
I love everybody dies, but.
Well, yeah, that's fine, but we ain't singing that song.
Right.
You know what I mean? Oh, another note from last night. Hey, if you don't know the words to Adam Copeland's song, just don't fucking sing it.
Peoria.
Yeah. All this way.
Yeah.
And they're just like, even like Copeland was like, yeah, guys, good job.
Great
you
try.
fucking losers. Yeah.
Fucking Illinois.
Well, I loved how MJF was like, Peoria isn't even a real place.
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
Yeah.
This isn't real. Yeah. But yeah.
Don Callis confronting his doppelganger was hilarious.
Yeah.
I really want to know, like, was that a plant so Don Callis could do that, or did he really go up and give some fan the fucking what for him? Was like, fuck you, kid.
Well, he's probably like, fuck you. This is pretty great. Do it again.
Maybe.
But yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. It looked like, that's why I was kind of like, was this a plant? Was this him trying to, like, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, who knows? Maybe it wasn't the same like. Yeah, maybe it was the last guy from the last week. I didn't really pay that close attention. But with Brody King, I think I get it that the Aussie guy hurt himself. What the fuck is his name?
Murphy.
Buddy Matthews. Buddy Murphy.
Yeah.
Right, whatever the fuck is that?
Matthews. Right? It's Matthews now, right?
Sure. Yep. Buddy. An old buddy. Good old buddy. I don't think we need a tag team. I think, again, if you want to heat up Julia Hart getting higher in the pecking order, get her standing next to Brody King again.
I also never felt like Buddy fit the group, even when they had Malachi there. Like, he just didn't fit with the look and everything. So I feel like, I don't know, there's something else for Buddy Matthews. And Brody King can do his own thing, with or without Julia Hart, sure. But yeah, there's got to be something here. We got to get him into something. We got to make something about him.
I like Brody King with Julia Hart because it kind of reminds me of a cooler version of Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman. Remember when they were doing something years back and it kind of made both of them kind of cool? I think that does that for Brody King and Julia Hart. And so I like that idea. And I even like if Brody King goes back out when Julia Hart has her matches and he's in her corner, right? Like, do it both ways. But yeah, I think that would add to the Mystique character. And then also, let's just get some fucking matches here. So he beat Lance Archer. Have him beat Brian Cage next week. After that, have him beat the fat Australian guy with the diaper on. What's his name?
Mark Davis.
That's it. Yeah, have him beat old Diaper Dan, and then have him take out, and then that could go him and Takeshita, right? And then there you go. Then we have some more fun. You know?
Yeah, I don't hate that.
Yeah. So we got that. What else did we got? Yeah, that was about...
Dogzilla. That's a thing they call Mark Davis.
What is it?
Dogzilla. I think I saw that somewhere. Why?
Can he dunk?
Right? No.
Oh.
I got to see this if that's the case.
Well, if he can, that's probably why they do it. It's like, a tall guy named Shorty or something.
I used to know a guy named Big Steve, but it was not one of those nicknames. It was Big Steve. That's how I used to explain to people. Be like, listen, I'm going to be Big Steve, and when like sometimes you call like a fat guy tiny, that's not what's happening here. Prepare to meet a big man.
I had a friend that we nicknamed Xbox because he weighed 360 pounds.
Nice.
Yeah, we're like
I know a guy named
Xbox, and he's
Pancakes.
like,
Yeah.
because he ate pancakes.
Well, because he's a big dude, right? So he's Pancakes. That was his name. Pancakes.
Oh, that's good. Wait a minute. Okay, Dunkzilla is his nickname because he can dunk, but also because of his massive
Oh,
dumper.
like a badonk dunk. I thought that was a donk. That's a donkzilla, isn't it? Listen to me being white.
I couldn't know. Yeah. Hey, guys, what's this nickname?
Can you please explain to me?
Yeah. Hey, so with all of our picks, what do you think may be the match of the night? What match are you looking forward to? And then what match do you think could be the fucking, we're going to remember it for this? Because last year's Dynasty was remembered for Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay. So we kind of already have established this match or this pay-per-view has to give us something. So what do you think that could be?
So the thing is, I'm bad about it because what people, right, what the crowd will remember will likely be something like Ospreay versus Kevin Knight because they went, flips and all the shit, whatever. But I think this Toni Storm Megan Bayne match might be something interesting, right? I think we might get something out of that. But I still feel like Swerve Moxley. I think there's so many implications on what happens here with all the players involved from the multiple storylines, and those two are just gonna go, let's kill each other. So I think I'm gonna go for that one.
Also, if I made you bet $1, $20 you never want to see again. Do we see Mariah May in this Toni Storm, Megan Bayne?
I don't think so. I'll say no.
When do we see her again?
I don't know. I think there's some. I think contract negotiations are underway. If we're looking behind the thing, so maybe we don't until we know
No,
that's locked up. Yeah.
If you fucking overpaid for Mercedes Moné and you let Mariah May go, you fucking idiot. Like that might be. I'm really flying down to Jacksonville to find Tony Khan to speak with.
Be like, listen, I'm handing you my resume. You're gonna read it right now. Read it out loud. Let's talk.
Yeah. And I'm also going to handle contracts because you're paying the wrong fucking people the wrong fucking money. If we got Buddy Matthews, we're re-signing, but we're not re-signing Mariah May.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I saw somewhere that like hers is close, right? It's within a time frame where I'm sure agents and lawyers are already going back and forth,
Yeah, she rules. She cannot go. They will ruin her. No.
It would be bad.
Man, wrestling's fun. Remember that John Cena turned heel and we still don't give a shit?
Yeah, I don't watch
what
that
a
over there.
Fucking shit in a punch bowl moment that was now, huh?
I really don't watch any of that at all.
But I mean, even like culturally, right? Have you heard anything since?
No, I haven't heard anybody talk about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, who gives a fuck about that shit? And we got WrestleMania coming up.
I haven't watched that in years either.
Ugh, Vegas.
Nope. Don't want it. Don't want to do it.
Yeah, I have no interest this year. I saw like a poster for all the matches. I was like, none of those look fun. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? But I know Dynasty will be fun. I would say, to answer my question that I posed to you, I think the match that will be the most fun is Moxley Swerve, because I think they're also kind of crazy. Like, no. I mean, let's not forget, Swerve fucking said, put the syringe in my mouth, right?
Yeah.
I also think that Hangman is going to get involved somehow. And I'm just, if you put Hangman involved in every match for a pay-per-view, that'd probably be my favorite pay-per-view of all time.
Yeah, I agree.
The match that I'm honestly kind of interested in is not necessarily the outcome, but I am very intrigued by what MJF does.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it was such a weird, all right, guys, well, thank you for your time. Like, no, that's not what you do. So
this is a weird mix with MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. I am very intrigued on how they play either the eventual fight between somebody here or this agreeing to disagree, joining. I don't know. This should be interesting.
I really hope it would be really cool if Jericho does stick his nose in it, in the sense of, hey, Bobby Lashley said he doesn't like MJF. Let me tell you about what really MJF really is like. And then and puts himself into the mix.
There could be this thing too where like the other three, right? So MVP, Shelton, and Bobby are just like, fine, let's just put it to a vote. And Shelton's like, all right, whatever, I'll give him a shot. And so it's 2-1. And now MJF's in there, but he's like, he's all right, but he's not quite, right? Like he's not quite a great fit. So we'll be like, yeah, we hurt people, guys, right? And Bobby just be like looking over at Shelton and be like, this fucking guy? Like, you know what I mean? And he'll be like,
I thought he'd be cool.
We hurt people, right? Like, yeah. He's not wrong.
Yeah.
Could work.
But yeah, oh my God. If you went that route, the fun segments you could do. You could get West Side Gun, who does the fucking song, and MJF could be like, hey, we hurt people. And he's like, oh,
West Side, my man.
Yeah. I didn't sing this fucking song for this guy to walk out to it. You know what I mean?
Fuck Your Mama 2 times says MJF needs to be jumped in. That would be fun.
It would be fun, but they're too old, right? Like they're too old to be like.
And they're trying not to do a gang gimmick, right? Like they definitely don't want to do that. You ever seen the movie White Boys?
No.
Yeah, there's these two white boys, and for some reason they wind up in Chicago trying to buy cocaine, and they get wind that somebody knows somebody who knows somebody, and they just knock on this guy's door, and this fucking guy opens the door, and he's like, "What the fuck do you want, man?" They're like, "We came for some coke," and he's like, "What?" And they were like, "Kane." He's like, "Motherfucker!" And they literally like bring him in, and just start kicking the shit out of him, right? Like beating him up, kicking him, whatever. And they're like, "Get up!" And the kid stands up. He's like, "Are we in the gang now?" And they're like, "Man, what the fuck?" Just go like, the fuck?
I just beat you up for the fun of it. There was no initiation. Yeah, you dumbass.
Like, oh, are we in the gang now? Like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Motherfuckers. Yeah. That's probably the only good spot in the movie.
No, well, good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
So, man, we got Dynasty.
So we
Collision on Saturday.
One, right?
Well, I was going to say Collision on Saturday, so we still have some fun that could happen Saturday night. But yeah, we were at the
Collision's been hitting well too. I've been really liking Collision for the last several weeks. Like they've been doing real good with that. Yeah, Dynasty. We went to the first one. The crowd was electric. There was a lot of going on though. Like there was a lot of storylines also in that pay-per-view, and I feel the same here. And it's Philly. I mean, if St. Louis got hyped for this, certainly Philly's going to bring the goods, right?
Yeah. Hey, one other quick question: since Kevin Knight and Will Ospreay are going to be in the tournament for the Owen Hart, if you took a look at the brackets, there is a wild card. Now, I was corrected on this because I did not know. If you remember, Jay White kept saying he was in it, but then if you look at those brackets, he ain't in it. Someone said at the start of the show, they said Jay White's hurt. So who do you think is the wild card?
Yeah, I really have been going back and forth on that. Oh, Fuck Your Mom 2 times says Josh Alexander. I think that's right. I think so in that like he's done with TNA.
Who?
Josh Alexander, the guy with the headgear in TNA. The
bald guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bald FTR.
Yeah, so
Wrestle
that could
FTR.
be an easy fit. There could also be there's a guy like I don't know what his name would be, but Baron Corbin's been hanging around not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah,
so
he's going by a name right now. Yeah, he's
his
going
real
by
name,
like
I think is like
No, he's like a bishop something now, right? Isn't he?
Okay.
Yeah, he's going by something. He would be fun because he would be big. And no offense, I'm not one of those guys where like wrestlers must be big, but it also makes it a little bit more fun. You know?
I also feel like he was also like not allowed to go full in, right? I felt like we got little nuggets where we were like, this could be something with the Baron Corbin guy. And they would just kind of not really roll with it, right? Still mid-card and under and just kind of cheeky as WWE's want to do, right? They didn't really know how to kind of go with some of this. I feel like he's good. I feel like he's such a heat magnet. He really is a punchable face that he knows how to like use his like, disdain for people, like it just, I don't know. I think he's got a lot of juice in him.
Him and Max Caster would be fun together.
Oh my gosh.
Just the dumb
if you
shit.
throw in Magic Trick Menard, like you said.
Hey! What? Yeah, he goes by a new name I saw.
Bishop Dyer is what Fuck Your Mama 2 times said.
Bishop Dyer, that's it, right? Yep. You
Broken
met him.
Corbin was pretty good. Yeah, Broken Corbin.
Yeah. You met him. Remember at Metro Pro Show.
Yeah, he said he would do this show, and I lost the email because I'm an idiot. That's probably a fake one anyway, too. Who knows, right? It's probably like this nerd.
Yeah.
This fucking nerd.
Bookme.fuckyou.com. Oh.
Yeah. His email was you'reajackass.com. It was really weird.
Never heard that domain before. So, yeah. But, all right, man. Well, then, I guess let's wrap it up. And I look forward to next week when I will watch
be
you
wearing
in that
shirt.
shirt again.
You will be
you
wearing
will be in that shirt.
You'll find a way to make it straight instead of, like, off-centered.
Baron Corbin was not a tackle for us, but he's from Kansas City.
Yeah.
He was a tackle for the Cardinals. Yeah,
Arizona met him Cardinals. One time here. Also saw him one time in the Oak Park Mall, and like he was standing there literally by himself, and I was like, "Is that motherfucking Baron Corbin?" This was like early NXT run, and I was like, "No way, that's motherfucking Baron Corbin." And he like looks over and he like sees me looking at him, and we're just like looking at each other, and I'm like, "I gotta say something now, or I don't say anything, right?" And then his girl comes up. And he seemed to be very displeased with the amount of bags that she had in her hand. And I was just like, I'm not gonna go interject myself in this moment. I'm gonna let him deal with his own business, because he seemed to be kind of very, very surprised and not pleasantly surprised about it. He was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Yep, that's coming to Star, baby. That's what's gonna happen."
Yeah, that's just get used to it. That's gonna be a lot of those trips.
Get used to it. But yeah, man, this has been fun, Tom. I enjoyed these moments with you and all of the folks in the chat. Remind everybody to go to alleatewrapup.com. Find all the links you need, including subscribing to that website, because it's completely free and will remain that way. And you only get like 1 or 2 emails a week telling you when we're going live, right? So we don't ping you, we don't bother you. It's just so you know when to be here and come hang out with us, because we want friends. And we'll see you next week right here when we gather friends again for more All Elite Wrap Up.